This is a 3,000-year-old clay tablet from Babylon, a city in ancient Mesopotamia. It was discovered around 1890 and thought by generations of archaeologists to be an astrological scheme to relate the 7 ancient planets to the 7 days of the week, because, as we'll see, this sequence of 7 numbers written on the tablet generates the weekday order. But today, archaeologists agree that this tablet relates to the Mesopotamian musical system, a system that used the 7-note major scale we still do today. Archaeologists know this because the sequence of numbers written on the tablet relates to the Mesopotamian musical system, as shown by a handful of other tablets. And, written at the points of the star, are the names of the strings of the Mesopotamian lyre. So, does this tablet relate to the Mesopotamian musical system or to the 7-day week? The answer? It relates to both. We have written proof from the ancient world that the 7-day week was known to be related to music. One piece of evidence comes from Origen of Alexandria, who lived in the 3rd century AD. Origen wrote a description of an initiation ritual of the Mithraic mysteries, a Roman mystery religion, describing that initiates climbed a ladder of 7 rungs, each rung associated with one of the 7 classical planets. The classical planets are the 7 independently moving bodies that can be seen without a telescope: the Sun, the Moon, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. Here is Origen's account of the Mithraic ritual. The cult of Mithra gives a representation of the heavenly spheres and the journey of the soul through these. There is an ascending road with 7 gates. The first is dedicated to Cronus, Saturn, the second to Aphrodite, Venus, the third to Zeus, Jupiter, the fourth to Hermes, Mercury, the fifth to Ares, Mars, the 6th to the Moon, and the 7th to the Sun. Origen is listing the 7 classical planets in their weekday order, for in fact each day of the week is named after a classical planet. Sunday is named after the Sun, Monday after the Moon, Tuesday in French Mardi after Mars, Wednesday in French Mercredi after Mercury, Thursday in French Jeudi after Jupiter, Friday in French Vendredi after Venus, and Saturday after Saturn. But where does this weekday order come from? The Latin word for ladder, scala, is the root of our musical term scale, and Origen goes on to say that the reason of the stars being arranged in this order is from musical reasons, quoted by the Persian theology. This brings us back to Mesopotamia, because Persia, ancient Iran, was the neighbor of Mesopotamia, ancient Iraq, and archaeological artifacts show that from as early as 2500 BC, the 2 cultures shared the same musical system. Let's look at the exact relationship between the major scale and the 7-day week. The tablets that relate to the Mesopotamian musical system indicate that the cycle or circle of fifths was known to the Mesopotamians. The circle of fifths is a circular arrangement of the 12 notes, 7 white and 5 black, that make up an octave, and this circle is still used today to teach music. The circle of fifths is the key to understanding the relationship between the major scale and the 7-day week. To see this, we select the notes in the scale of C major from the circle of fifths. The first note is C, the second D, the third E, the fourth F, the fifth G, the sixth A, and the 7th B. The octave of C then completes the scale. Notice the sequence of numbers generated: 4, 1, 5, 2, 6, 3, 7. This is the same sequence written on the star tablet. If we rotate this sequence on the circle, we can find the notes in any major scale. It is this sequence, 4, 1, 5, 2, 6, 3, 7, that explains the weekday order. To see this, we must first understand how our ancestors pictured the universe. There are only 5 planets that can be seen without a telescope: Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. These were the planets known to the Mesopotamians, and they also believed the sun and the moon to be planets. These planets and the sun and the moon all appear to move through the same narrow band of stars, the constellations of the zodiac. The zodiac is first documented in Mesopotamia around 500 BC. From Earth, the sun, the moon, and the planets appear to move at different speeds through the zodiac constellations. Because of this, they were thought to circle the Earth in 7 different orbits, or spheres. The moon was imagined in the first sphere, closest to Earth, because it appears to move most quickly through the constellations. Saturn was imagined in the 7th sphere, farthest from Earth, because it appears to move most slowly through the constellations. To an observer on Earth, the Earth seems stationary. This makes the sun take on the relative motion of the Earth, appearing to move more slowly than Venus, but more quickly than Mars. Consequently, the sun was imagined in the 4th sphere. So, these were the sphere numbers given to the 7 classical planets: Moon 1, Mercury 2, Venus 3, Sun 4, Mars 5, Jupiter 6, and Saturn 7. But notice that this isn't the order of the days of the week. Instead, starting with Sunday, which is traditionally the first day, and listing the sphere numbers of the planets, we have Sunday 4, Monday 1, Tuesday 5, Wednesday 2, Thursday 6, Friday 3, and Saturday 7. The musical sequence 4152637. Let's look at the star tablet again. In the table drawn on the tablet are written inversions of the sequence 4152637. And the star and the table are related. Following the diagonals of the star generates the sequence 4152637. Starting at the other points of the star generates inversions of the sequence. Now we can understand why this tablet was described as an astrological scheme to relate the 7 ancient planets to the 7 days of the week. The sequence of numbers on the tablet generates the weekday order. There is more evidence that the week was intentionally related to this musical sequence. The English word week can be traced to the German word Woche, from a base probably meaning sequence or series. And an ancient definition of the word octave is a period of 8 days beginning with the day of a church festival. In other words, an octave is a unit of time that spans the 7-day week, for example, from Sunday to Sunday inclusive. The week is profoundly important to the Judeo-Christian tradition and is the basis of one of the 10 commandments. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. To summarize, the week is ordered using the musical sequence 4152637, a sequence known to the Mesopotamians. But which came first, the 7-day week or the major scale? The answer? The major scale. Scholars believe that a continuous 7-day week was first used by the Jews during their captivity in Babylon during the 6th century BC, and that this 7-day period was adopted from the Babylonians. Because the Babylonians did, in fact, count time using a period of 7 days, but not in a continuous cycle. Instead, 3 7-day periods were followed by an 8 or 9-day period, so that all 4 periods combined to equal the lunar cycle of 29.5 days. The Jews adopted this calendar while in captivity in Babylon, but altered the cycle to be a continuous cycle of 7 days. But this Mesopotamian musical tablet, which has the sequence 415-2637 written on it, dates to 1800 BC, over 1,000 years before the Jewish adoption of the 7-day week. So we can conclude, as Origen did, that the weekday order is from musical reasons. To learn more about the role of the sequence 415-2637 in ancient mystery traditions, watch the video The Role of the Sequence in Ancient Traditions. To learn about the ancient Mesopotamian roots of our modern musical system, watch the video Musicircle Intro. Both videos are available on the Musicircle YouTube channel and at musicircle.net. Thanks for watching.